as a young woman who needs to go out and have fun, or just, I use fun now relatively, but looking at your daily routine, but running for, did you not think it was going to affect anything?
I mean, I knew it was going to affect a lot, but these things you don't understand until you're really inside, right? And the day-to-day realities start to hit you. So, of course, my entire life has changed. I left Abuja to come to Ikere. There's a very vast difference between the life in Abuja and the life here, so I've had to learn to adjust. And yeah, with respect to that street, it was just for the first time in a long time, I had the choice. Like, I went out and it was by choice. It wasn't because I had to go to one meeting or I had to go see one group. I just had to show up at an event. I was just able to go for an event, publicly sit down and just be looking at people. I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to, during that event, somebody actually came to me to say, because I just went and sat at the back, I was just observing them. And person said, "Are you okay?" Well, I said, "Were you understand that this is I like what that, like, I'm happy just the way I'm here. Don't worry, I'm okay. Like, this is bliss for me. Like, I'm all right. There's nothing." So I won't say I didn't anticipate it, but the thing is that you can't know for certain how much your life will change or how it will disrupt things until you're actually in it. You can only imagine and forecast, but it's just a lot. And I saw it coming, but still I didn't see it coming. But the thing for me is that I was ready for it, whichever way. Like, I was ready, like, whatever it takes, right? We'll try and do this thing.
I like that. I like that. So if I was to ask you to describe your experience, we have the elections coming up in March, but from when you decided to run, when you got the ticket to this point, if I was to ask you to describe your experience in the simplest form, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I don't even know how. The experience has been too complex, maybe a few words. Intensely difficult, very frustrating, very energy and money consuming, but simpler than most people think it is, and doable. That's like 20 words, right?
Okay. So you said it's difficult, it's money consuming, and it's just simpler than most people think it is. How so?
So, before politics, I always say that politics in Nigeria is just shrouded in a lot of mystery. As people think you have to, for example, people think for you to have achieved so much, you have to have been backed by a godfather or something. There's nothing like that in my case. I say it boldly anywhere that there is no single individual, alive or dead, that can come up and say, if not for me, Simi would not have been here, or I was the one that gave Simi this. But I went through a simple process. I just came, first joined the party, offering value to the party. So when I say it's doable, like, it's, yes, hard and all of that, but it's not impossible. People think that there really isn't a path for young people in politics, especially a woman. But it's, at least from my own experience, it's doable. You have to go the extra mile, to prove that, oh, really, I'm not here for your money, I'm not here for connections, I'm not here for anything. I think it helped that I was coming from an established background. I wasn't trying to use anybody in politics to get anything. And it also helped that if anybody had made any stupid demands of me, I was ready to drop everything and go back to where I came from. So I could stand my ground. I mean, what would you force me to do? I'll just say, sorry, I'm not doing it again. I'm going back. There's room for me where I came from. So I'm able to tell. So when I say it's doable, like, it's frustrating and difficult in the sense of the things you have to do daily. Look at me saying, I have to go out and engage with people. I have to find money. Just today, somebody has asked me, I've sent money to pay somebody's NECO school fees. By 4 p.m., I'm heading out to attend the naming ceremony of somebody that just gave birth. I'm going to meet with a group of women and all of that. So just having to engage with people. Demands never stop coming. People say, oh, we must see the person we want to vote for. So just all of those things, having to navigate leadership, the active members within the party, in the community who are arguing for the pettiest of reasons. Even, well, some are not petty, but some are petty, but most of them are issues I even know nothing about. Like, they happened before I came here or anything, but because my election is at stake, I have to go around. Like yesterday evening now, I went around 4 people's houses to go beg them and sorry, whoever's offended you, come back to the party. I went to some leaders and other party members. I have like a list of 52 more people to do that for. And these are things I have been doing since last year when I started, since February when I officially got on the campaign trail. So it's things like that. It's exhausting. But and then I'm just trying to also communicate that I'm different from everybody else. I'm not here to take from you. I really just want to give back. It's hard to communicate. They haven't seen a lot of things like that. It's just Nigeria, right? Most people don't come that way. I keep saying nobody in the career has asked me for my manifesto. Nobody. And I don't blame.
Nobody has asked you for your manifesto.
Nobody. There was one event where that they invited us, like a town hall. I wasn't around there, but my DG went to represent him. So I even had a copy of the manifesto, but he ended up not using it, right? So because from their experience, people come and say things to them or deliver manifestos, but they don't act on it. So there's really nobody's interested in asking. So like although, so how do I communicate to them that I really have value to give you? So it's having to navigate those things, like, okay, and then how do I come across as not being elitist? So those are the things that, like, say, it makes it difficult and all that, but it is there because really it's just going out and engaging daily with people. Eventually you will learn what to say to each person. You will make mistakes. I will say the wrong things in some places. I will learn, over time and all of that. So that's been so all those things that make it very difficult. And of course, there's also still sexual sort of harassment, all of that there. But yeah, that's aside. So, but it's a walkable path. That's still what I insist on, that it's a very doable thing.
It's a very doable thing. I like the fact that you're confident about these things, and you're, in as much as the difficulties you've experienced on the campaign trail, you're still saying that it's a doable thing. So I hear you, and I really do not want to go back to asking these things, but I want to know, how did you get, before we even talk about how you got the ticket or why you decided to run on the platform of the PDP, but how did you get the ticket? Because we keep hearing that these things are quite difficult. And so how did you get the PDP ticket? I'd like you to just give us in the simplest form. How did you get the ticket? Yes.
I chose PDP. So here's it. I've always known, I for me was about, okay, how can I get this thing done the fastest way? And I had to be honest with myself that for me, who was going to be new in politics,
okay,
who didn't have a lot of money, who didn't have existing popularity, I couldn't be it on a smaller party whose ideology I might have believed in. Because if I had joined a smaller party, I would have first had to find my money to build the party, create structure, find the people and all of that. Where am I going to get that money from?
Okay.
Right? And it's not just about building the people, you have to build it to a place that you can compete against the big two.
Okay.
So that was one thing, but that was like the main thing for me. Like, if you're going to move fast, I can't afford to join a smaller party.
Okay.
Then the second thing was that honestly, once you get the ticket of any of the big two, you're like you have a 50% chance of winning if you're a strong candidate. If I'm doing it on a smaller party, the struggle. So I was like, okay, and so I was like, okay, he has to be one of the big two. Now it was which of them? For me, the APC was not an option.
Why weren't they an option? Why weren't they an option?
Yeah, I'm saying it was fun. No, it wasn't about ideology, because I don't think both parties, there isn't any big ideological difference or anything yet. But I looked at the young people who were in both parties, how they were speaking to other young people, how accessible they were. And I liked the young people I saw in PDP. I'm not saying there weren't any like that in APC, but I saw a lot more young people like me that I could connect with, who were professionals, the way they were communicating with people. Of course, they make mistakes too, and sometimes, some of my friends will say things, I'm like, but I was much more comfortable. I felt like it was a system I could at least manage with. And so far, I'm yet to be disappointed. Yeah, with all the things that happened to me so far as I joined the party, I'm not, I know I made the right choice. So that was why I chose the PDP.
Okay. But again, I hear you say these things, but initially when I heard that you wanted to run, I did not expect that I was going to be on the platform either of the big two. You understand? I didn't expect, because we've seen people like yourself who also want to run and they do not run on the platform of either of the established parties. They just pick a party that they agree with, and they explain and do everything. But now you decided to run on the platform of the PDP. You got the ticket. You are now the candidate. But again, you cannot excuse the history of the PDP in regards to this, because you're saying you want to change things, you want to show people and let them know that, listen, I'm not like the normal type of politician, but the platform you're running on is tainted. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. So how do you intend to marry both sides? You on the one hand say, you know what, I'm here to change things. I'm not an establishment politician, but you are running on the platform of an establishment party. So how do you intend to balance both sides?
See, I've come to agree that it's not in this life, you don't always have to have balance or to marry things. And in this particular one, I am not searching for balance. I'm being pragmatic in the pursuit of an ideal situation. So I'm being pragmatic about this. I knew what the parties were when I was going into it. I set my boundaries for myself. I'm not going to make any excuses or apologies for what the PDP has did before I joined, even while I'm joining. Anything the party on its own has joined, Abi has done. All I know is what I am going to do, because unfortunately, Nigeria is a place where I can't do much without the platform. So I have just chosen, there's no balance basically, and I'm not trying to balance anything. I'm only going to work on things that are within my control and speak for those things. And that's right now within my constituency. What can I communicate to people about myself, that even though I'm running on this platform, you can't trust me for me? How am I communicating that to the people within my group of young people within PDP who are working on strategy issues? How can we make things, how can we change things gradually? So I'm focusing on the things within my control. That balance, it doesn't exist, and I'm not going to try to make it exist or to find a way to paint it. I can't. So you just have to take things as they are and hope for the best.
And hope for the best. Okay. Okay. I remember seeing your post about the fact that I think about Christmas, where you talked about you had to give people money, and it was quite touching. I read the thread, and I was like, okay. So now I want to talk to you about this. I know you mentioned the fact that you're giving out money and it's financially draining and everything. Can you give us a figure? If I was to ask you now, that since you started this thing till now, how much have you spent? How would you answer if you can quantify it?
I have the accurate figure of everything that has been spent, because I track every expense. Yeah.
Okay.
So I took, as of yesterday, we were a little over 23 million. Yes. So that has been from February, from the moment I left Abuja up till now. Yes, we're a little over 23 million. I mean, I have the specific number down to the cover. But yeah. But let's just keep it like that.
Okay, 23 million. This is for somebody who, you say you don't have a godfather, you don't have anybody putting up. Where did this money come from? I'm asking this not because I'm trying to be mischievous, but because It's just to make people understand how these things work. So where did this money come from?
I ask myself that every day. A chunk of it, so far I'm the highest donor to my campaign right now, right? But it's a lot of people that have backed me have been mostly other young people, right? Young people in tech, young people in civil, in the social space. So that's the background I came for. These are people I'm looking to. So when I say I don't have a godfather, it's because I don't want to be beholden to anyone that I know can make weird demands. I keep saying I'm fine owing people in the civil space, owing my people in tech, right? I mean, you know what I mean by owing. I know that there are those kind. So it's been, and there are people who don't know me who have just donated to my campaign. I wake up sometimes and say, oh, somebody has sent me 20K. I don't know who those people are. So it's just been people in my within my network, in the social space, in tech, in the startup space. So it's been mostly that, the friends and family. So that's where the money has come from.
Interesting. So another question I have is 23 million you spent to get to this point, which is normal. You have to spend money to at least make a campaign and get yourself in the running for the race. What happens if you do not win? Will you consider this money that you spent, because 23 million and counting, would you consider this money? Because we've seen people run for office, spend a lot of money, they don't win, and they come out and say, you know what, I wasted this money, I should not have. But is that something you might be looking at saying, or would you, if you don't win, would you consider this money spent, like, you know, to what end?
It's absolutely not a waste for me. I'm doing this for two reasons. One is to win eventually, you know, and show people that you can get good governance, you know, and actually help bring development. Hopefully grow from there, you know. For me, it's a long-term thing. Now, the second reason why I ran is to show people that it can be done, right? Is to create like a path that people can look at and follow and say, oh, this babe did this thing and it worked well. Maybe let me try and tweak it to myself. And I've done that. So even if I don't, at least I won my primaries on a major party, on what they call the largest political party in Africa, right? I won it as a newbie, as the youngest, as a woman. I had to go through 2 primaries like no other person did in my state. So you get, all of that process is documented. You know, I have a newsletter where I share updates of what's going on, what I've done. So for me, it's like I'm creating like a workbook somebody can take after and look at and read, or someone can hear my journey and it can encourage them to say, okay, this is how I start. And I think the steps I've taken so far are things that anybody can replicate. So for me, if I don't hit that eventual goal of being in office, this other goal of being able to expose the space, open up the space for other people to say, this is how we can do it, it's enough. And also, the fact that now I'm done within the political system, I'm now a sort of leader in the party at whatever level I am now. It means that I'll be able to influence some things, you know, I can advocate for things, who becomes a ward exco, which in turn influences who becomes a delegate. So it's not a waste. I might not get the eventual thing. I do think I will. I have a very good chance to. But because I came in with 2 goals, so one goal has already been met and we're still meeting it. The other goal, which is winning and continuing the journey, we'll see. So it will not be a waste at all for me.
The idea behind your campaign is to show people that, listen, it can be done. It can be done, right? And you feel like the ruling party has not done what they promised to do at all levels. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you are offering change and everything. So to the young person who's going to watch this interview and has heard or knows about you, like you said, you're a leader now and everything, what do you want to tell them about, you know, this kind of things going forward? Because we at least to some extent, we hear now that the youth, this is the election where it looks like the youth will change a lot of things. Voter participation has increased on a youth level. Everyone is talking about the elections and stuff. But if there's any piece of advice you'd like to give others who might be coming after you and want to do the same thing that you have done or you are doing at the moment, what would you tell them?
For me, I'll say I'm happy that what is going on. I'm happy about what's going on. I'm happy about what's going on now, right? I'm happy people are getting excited about the elections. But for me, it's just a little too late.
Also,
yes, because you're coming in when the options have been handed over to you. It's like in 2019, all of that, most of all, the lot of situations, it's between the devil and the deep blue sea, and you have to choose the lesser evil. Maybe now things are different and people are more excited, but for me, I'm like, that should be the least involvement that we have, because you're getting then when your choices are limited, you have to be between 2 or 3 people on a ballot at whatever level it is. So what I have been telling people is that we need to get into politics. Yeah, you need to become, of course, not everybody can be a politician. I'm not saying a politician to run for office. As many people as can, join a party, be it one of the big ones, be it the smaller ones, because the smaller ones, you can stay in there, grow over the next 4-8 years. But we need to be part of decision makers. I talked about what ESCOs and delegates. Get yourself into a party, attend board meetings, be part of the conversation, be part of those who sponsor the party. It might be one day you take a pack of drinks. It might be that, okay, it's a little thing. I enjoy the grassroots work. One day you buy salt, or one day you just give 2,000 or something, okay, take for those who need transport. Little things, but like things that make your voice heard. When it's time to choose ESCOs, will be part of those who are asked to say, okay, who do you want? That's if they're not doing actual elections, right? Or if you have a problem with an ESCO and you have an objection, we can't, and you to object and tell the leader, no, we don't want this person. Your voice will be listened to. When it's time to pick delegates, either you can become a delegate or you are part of those who determine who the delegates are. At least your voice will be heard somehow, so that eventually, when those ones go to pick who are the party flag bearers,
you would have a direct impact in that one way or the other.
Right. So that's for me. So that's the beginning point. I'm tired of us being between the devil and the deep blue sea most of the time, and that's my big one. Like we can't be stuck at that stage. We need to get into a system where we have good options. So that's one. Then for as many who are interested and have the wherewithal to do it, run for office. And I tell people, start at the smaller levels. Your local government, ward councillor, local government chair, state house of assembly. The impact those people make is, we underestimate it. We absolutely underestimate it. And there are so many of these offices, like young people. So young people, we might not have the money yet, but you can start at the smaller levels that don't take so much money from you, at least compared to running for rep, senate, governor, and all of that. So you get start small, grow. Can we also, and that's one of the things I'm hoping to do. How can I help other young women become party leaders, party ESCO? How can I help them become ward councillors? How can I help more women in the next election cycle become House of Assembly members? So that's what I would say to young people. One, get into the party just to be an active member, to be part of those who influence decisions in whatever, even in the tiniest way. I assure you, it makes a difference. And if you can run for office, please do, and be willing and happy to start at the lower levels.